Hey everybody, welcome to another JBoz gaming video. I'm your host JBoz, and today I'd like to talk to you about the scoreboard in World of Tanks console. Um, I was playing last evening and someone had sent me a fungram and was claiming that they had done better in battle than they actually had. And so I had to explain to them basically how to read the post battle scoreboard so that they would understand maybe they may not be reading it quite correctly, and there's more to it than just this simple ranking. And I do blame Wargaming for this because they're the ones that decide the sort order of the scoreboard, which gives people the impression that they're doing better than they actually are. And so let's dive in. Let's take a look here at a scoreboard of a game that I had last evening. This was just a random one that I pulled up. Um, but in this game, I had done 547 experience. I had killed 5 tanks, did 744 direct damage, and 61 assisted damage. Now, please note that I don't show, I try not to show my gameplay for the most part, unless it's something that I'm trying to illustrate an example of, or my scoreboards, because I'm not trying to shame other players. I want to be a positive influence in this game, and though I have a lot of experience at the game and I am pretty good at it, I'm not trying to tout my numbers. I'm simply using this as an example. So please just know that's why I tend not to show a lot of scoreboards or full gameplay that I do because I don't want other people to think, oh, I'm doing terrible because I'm not getting the numbers that JBoz does, and that's okay, guys. It comes with well, one, you learning the basics of the game, two, getting experience at the game and playing the game, and then of course just time and working with others to hone your craft and your skill and get better and better. So, with that being said, let's kind of dive in and let me explain the situation. So, the scoreboard is sorted by the first column here, which is the XP. The 547 is the experience that I received, which happened to be the most experience on the team. That's why I show up as number one on the scoreboard. I did 5 kills, and I don't know if the scoreboard is sorted beyond the first column. I don't know if there's secondary sorts. Let's say another player had done 547, but we had maybe different kills. Maybe he killed 5 and I killed 4, and so therefore he would be ranked ahead of me. I don't know if there's secondary sorts. Don't really care because it doesn't really matter. And I'll explain why here. So as we look at this, there's a real problem with sorting the scoreboard by XP. You get XP for various reasons and things that you do within a battle, and that's a whole other video I've done. Check it out. But you also get various amounts of experience based on your actual tier of tank and who you're actually damaging and that sort of thing. So, for example, this happens to be a tier 4 game. So let's say this is a battle that has tier 3 and tier 4 tanks within it. And so that means when a tier 3 tank hits and does damage to an opposing tier 4 tank, that that person gets more experience for the damage they do to the higher tier tank than, say, a same tier tank doing the same damage to the opposing team's tank. So, for example, if a tier 3 tank did 100 damage to a tier 4 tank, then they would get, let's say, 200 experience for that particular shot, right? Now they would have 200 experience, 100 direct damage, and that's what they would have. Now, if a tier 4 tank did the same 100 damage to that same tier 4 opposing enemy tank, he would have 100 damage and 100 experience. And if we got to the end of the battle and we came into the post-battle screen, guess who would be listed above the tier 4 tank? That's right, the tier 3 tank. Because the tier 3 tank would have 200 experience and the tier 4 tank would have only 100 experience, right? And so what we would have to ask ourselves is, who contributed more to the win for the team? If that team won, who contributed more to their team's success? Let's just put it that way. Was it the tier 4 tank? Was it the tier 3 tank? Well, actually, they did the same amount of damage, so they would have contributed the same, right? They should be equal. However, if you notice, if the tier 4 tank had done 200 damage, right? Or let's say he did 199 damage, and we came in and looked at the scoreboard again, guess who would still be ranked above the tier 4 tank, that tier 3 tank that has 200 experience? But now, when we look at the direct damage, the tier 4 tank has done almost twice the amount of damage as the tier 3 tank. And it would be clear at that point, right, that the tier 4 tank actually contributed more to the win of the battle than the tier 3 tank. Now, I get it. You're saying, hey, the tier 3 tank is not as strong as the tier 4, so it's trying to balance, right, how good a person is by giving them more experience because they're doing well in a lower tier tank. And I'm saying that's okay. I agree. I think it should be that way. And experience is only important to the person that owns that tank. I really could care less if Nightstick on the opposing team over there got 742 experience. I don't care. I don't. That means nothing to me. It matters very little to me that he got 742 experience. And it wouldn't say that he did better in the battle than I did. Because clearly when you look at our numbers, he didn't. I had 744 damage, 61 assisted for a combined over 800 damage. What did he have? Well, he had close. He had 662 direct damage with another 126 combined, which is just shy of 800, right? But then you throw on that I had 5 kills and he had 1. Again, I really sort it in that order. Just like I said, I look at the kills last. Because the kills are just leftover, right? You do want to take guns out of the fight, and kills are important. I'm not trying to de-stress killing people, because you should. But what I'm trying to reflect here is that when you look at the scoreboard, you have to look at it with a little bit of a critical eye, because of the way Wargaming has sorted the scoreboard by experience versus damage, especially direct damage. So what I do is I really look at the direct damage first when I come in here to see who had the best game, right? Doesn't matter which team. And it allows you to start to compare the teams, not just to your team, but to the other team as well. Notice I compared the top player to myself, where if I was just looking at the experience, that would be woefully unfair. Because as we all know, when we win battles, we get a lot more experience than we do when we lose battles, don't we? So of course the winning team's tanks are going to have more experience than any of the losing teams, no matter how good we do, right? So you want to make sure you're looking at the scoreboard in a critical way to really assess your own play and really say whether you did well in a battle or not. I always encourage, especially new players or players that are trying to get better, to do or try to shoot for doing as much direct damage as your actual tank's hit points, or at least combined damage. Let's throw it out there. Let's give it some leeway. You want to do at least a combined damage of at least the amount of your tank's hit points or more. And if you do that, then you actually had a positive effect on the battle. If you don't do that, you actually are a drain on your team. You have a negative effect for your team on the battle. So this game here, notice that my team lost and this other team won. You can quickly and easily see why. For example, when I look at the direct damage, I see maybe 3, let's call it 4. Let's give this guy. I know the Keeney has more than 249 hit points, but he was getting close, right? So let's say it's 4 players that did what I kind of set as a beginning goal for players is at least their tank's hit points or more. Okay? But let's kind of look over at why this team won. Well, look at all of these players that did close or if not more than their tank's hit points. Look at that. A lot more. Pretty easy. That results in a win. Not the kills. Yes, you have to kill all the tanks. I get that. But you actually have to drain them of their hit points. And the only way to do that is to get direct damage. Somebody has to do it. And that's why I look at it first and really then look at assisted as a secondary. So if I was sorting this, it would be direct damage, then it would be assisted damage, and then kind of the two combined, you could sort it as a way of looking at who had more impact on the battle, right? And just to illustrate this example even more than using myself, I just noticed this down here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy right here. He was 6th on his team. He's thinking, hey, that's pretty good. I did good. I'm 6th on my team. Out of 15? That's not bad, right? Now, this happens to be a bot, but there's players that do this, right? They score, he scored 403 XP, but he had 3 kills, but he only had 86 direct damage with another 28 assisted. So think about that. He's averaging less than, 30 direct damage per kill? You can't kill a tank with 30 hit. All tanks have more than 30 hit points, right? So what he's doing is getting kills that other people have left hanging, which is okay. You want him to take guns out of the fight. But let's not overrate this guy's play. As far as contributing to the battle, not 6. No. In fact, I would put him down here, way down here, probably at 12th. Right? So when we're looking at the scoreboard, keep that critical eye. I hope this helps you at least make more sense of how more veteran players look at the game, how more veteran players understand the mechanics to know that they're performing better and how to improve their game versus maybe new people that don't have this knowledge. And so that's why I bring the scoreboard up, because I literally had someone, much like this, that say to me, well, at least I did better than so-and-so. No, you didn't, because you actually probably finished dead last or close to the bottom of the team because you don't really understand the scoreboard. And I'm sorry Wargaming has done this to you all and is sorting the scoreboard by XP. I know others have given them feedback about maybe making this change, as they should, but who knows if that's even on their plate. But nonetheless, I hope this has been helpful, at least to get better understanding of the game and why people might be critical if you claim that you're doing better than you maybe are. All right, guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you like what we're doing here, please consider subscribing. It's definitely appreciated, and we hope to earn that subscription as we go. And then if you want to see when I post or drop another video, hit that bell, because that'll send a notification that I've added a new video out on the channel. Until then, good luck, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Till next time, guys, take care.